To be frank, the one time I was like, okay, I'm going to let him do it.
Stop.
I talk too much.
Stop.
I've got to let him do it. I was like, okay, he's going to do it. And he was like, just relax. And I did it. And I farted. And I will never do it again. I will never do it again.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. What kind of day is it, Andy?
It appears to be a love fest.
It does. And it's a couple that I can't even hide my excitement.
I'm a little excited.
I'm like jittery with excitement over this couple. Yeah. I'm excited, A, because I actually want to know their answers to my questions. Mm-hmm. And B, because I'm like a little starry-eyed.
Are you starstruck?
Yeah, I'm a little starstruck.
Oh, that's nice.
Our guests today are none other than Rachel, Lindsay, and Bryan Abasolo. Thank you for joining us.
You guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Quite the introduction. My goodness.
It's 100% truth. Andy saw me. I was like, I'm really nervous.
Oh my gosh. Don't be. We're excited for this. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You're the sweetest because you, I think, are some of the busiest people in the biz and in very different bizes. And you carved out the time for Dear Shandy, and we so appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So just so you know, what we do with these Love Fest episodes, it's just all about your story, and just we're giving you full permission to be as self-indulgent and specific and long-winded as you want to be. I know you guys on the whole are on the private side with your relationship, so no pressure to share anything you're not comfortable sharing, but just in general, we want to know the ins and outs of your dynamic beyond the amazings and awesomes that we get too much on The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, so we're just going to start at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Andy, do you want to ask the first question on the list?
What were your first impressions of each other?
Oh.
How have those changed, if at all?
Babe, do you want to
I'll go first. My first impression, so when I first saw Rachel, I believe it was on Jimmy Kimmel. And I remember her saying this was when she was announced as a Bachelorette, and she said what she was looking for in a guy. And I believe it was somebody who made her laugh. I believe it was somebody who likes sports. Basically 3 things that I was like, I could do that. All right, let's do this. Like, let's go for it. So I could already tell, even before meeting her, that she was a very easygoing person and that she was very personable. And I feel like I'm a very easygoing guy, so I felt that we were going to get along really great.
That's
Wait a minute. So how has that changed now?
Yeah.
No, he did say, or has it? So I don't think it has. I think that like we were in our season, we were pleasantly surprised. Like we went in with these preconceived notions, and I think everything just got better and better, and everything that we had thought basically came to fruition, and it was just better than we thought.
But I'm not as easygoing as you thought. You've come to learn that I'm type A.
She's a Taurus. little stubborn.
That's where I was going with that. I was like, am I easygoing all the time? Not true.
I meant like more chill. Like you could be very relaxed. We can sit around on a lazy Sunday, watch football. You could watch the Cowboys lose. I mean, it's...
That's it. We're done. Interview over. She's pushed the wrong buttons.
I can't imagine you not being easygoing, frankly, Rachel.
I am easygoing, I guess, in like how I move about, and I have a more of a low key, chill personality. But I'm very type A when it comes to work, and I'm like more controlled, like hands-on when it comes to things. And I think that for me, that's developed over time. When I worked for someone, I was way more laid back. But now that I'm like running my own, oh my gosh, I can't say this right. Even though I'm like the captain of my ship and I'm figuring things out for myself, I've become very type A because I'm in a business that I'm not familiar with. And I just feel like, I just have to have a control on control on things. It's weird. I've changed. I've changed since in that regard with The Bachelorette. But my first impression of Bryan has changed because when I first met Bryan, I was like, whoa, who is this? You know, you see it on my face when he steps out of the limo, which is one of the highs of the Bachelorette, is that you will always see the first moment that I laid eyes on Bryan, and you will see my initial reaction. And I love that. I want to share that with our kids one day.
I'm jealous of that, by the way.
Wait, what?
Of just that you have that on camera, that first. Like,
oh, right.
We've spoken before about how we wish like we could get the. I can't believe I'm admitting it. This is so embarrassing. But like, you know, we met at this event space, and we're like, I wonder if there happened to be a camera on that corner where we were sitting. You know, it's just such a silly thing to wish for. But you guys got it.
I should have brought my crew with me.
Right? You don't think about it in the moment, but now that it's over and it worked, it's like, wow, we have that moment forever. So my initial attraction. Or I was initially attracted to him, and I didn't know though that he was Latino until he said he spoke in Spanish. And then he said, have you ever dated a Colombian guy? So now I'm like, no, I haven't. I'm even more intrigued. And he was very charming, and he was very, very smooth. And I was like, okay, this guy, and he said it, he's like, I'm trouble. And I thought, okay, he's in trouble. I mean, he's trouble, but I don't know if it's in a good way or a bad way. So I kind of like my antennas went up with him, because I was like, he's like a smooth operator. That was my first impression.
Like too smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now my impression of him has changed, because he's a lot more reserved. He's a lot more quiet, and he is charming. He is smooth, but in all the right ways. Like he's not a smooth operator. He's not and then when he told me he was from Miami, I was like, oh, great.
Yeah, I just had so many strikes against me. I mean, I was from Miami. I mean, guys down here don't get the best reputation. And then they started playing like this sexy Latin music right when I said I was Colombian, and it was just it just went on from there.
Oh, that show is so subtle.
Yeah. Right.
Always a light
real
hand.
Nuance. Yeah. Nice touch.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, so what I always liked about Bryan is that there is like, yes, he was smooth, but there is like a quiet confidence, because I think it's easy to sort of correlate smoothness with arrogance. Mm-hmm. But it sort of just sounds like, Bryan, you're smooth. Like, you know what you have going on with women. Do you know what I mean?
No, he's Colombian. He can't help it. He knows how to deal with women, and he's smooth. It's in the DNA. Not his fault.
Yeah.
No.
That's very.
And he doesn't look like, you don't look like you're from Miami, by the way. If I had 100 guesses,
if you had to guess, what do you think I was?
100, top 100, no Miami.
What would you guess?
Well, it's just anywhere. Somewhere.
anywhere but Miami.
Basically anywhere but, yeah, exactly.
But when I met him, he had like the deep V shirt. Yes, you did.
Whoa, slow down.
In my jacket?
What's the problem with that?
Your picture, your bachelor picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
terrible.
like
I picked a terrible shirt.
Yeah, you were a little bit
than
more
this?
Miami. Yes.
No,
yes.
it was just like that. It was just like it. The only thing it was red. It was red. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's yeah. That's all right.
He's like changed it up a bit.
Since you've come along.
Yeah, she's definitely upgraded my style for sure.
Okay.
That's what women do, right? Isn't that what women do?
Yes.
They make you better.
Yeah.
They make men less embarrassing.
Correct.
Your entire wardrobe has been overturned.
I literally, the only thing I wear that I actually purchase, probably my white t-shirts.
Yes.
It's like we're safe picking those out, right?
Yeah, right.
Like it's hard to mess that up.
Exactly.
And actually at first I did try. I was like, have you thought about, and then I realized.
Well, she tried to get me into these like Nick Viall was wearing these like fancy V-neck white tees. I was like, I'm not spending $200 on a white V-neck.
They were super soft, James purse, like just such like cuddly soft. While these are a little starchy.
I'm barely holding on to like manhood. I cannot go for $150, $200.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with Hanes, all right?
And by the way, yes,
they are.
That's what Bryan wears too.
Did you know? Did you know? But this is Hanes.
Yeah. We're still aiming for a sponsorship.
Of course, it's tagless. What am I, an animal?
Super comfortable. Super comfortable.
Thank you.
All right. So let's segue now into talking about specific traits. And again, you can be as long-winded as you please. How would you say you two complement each other?
Oh, yin to the yang, I would say. It's she's the more outgoing, like she says, she lights up the room when she walks in. She's a life of the party. I'm more reserved. I like to scope the scene out a little bit first, and then, maybe a couple drinks, and I'll open up a little bit more. But yeah, I would say that's the case. So she'll kind of like start the party up, but then I'll be right behind her.
Oh, that's
just like
nice.
a good man is supposed to be, behind her and just
exactly right.
Supporting her all the way.
Would you say you're more introverted then, Bryan?
What did you say I was, babe? I'm a introverted extrovert.
Extroverted introvert.
Extroverted introvert. I'm better. I feel like I'm a lot better one-on-one. So like when I'm with her, she's dying laughing all my jokes. And,
oh, wow. Whoa.
No, she's just having the best time. But then when we're like in groups, I'm a little more reserved.
I'm the exact same way. And I feel like you're a little more Rachel-y. Yeah, maybe.
Rachel.
I'm very Rachel.
Well, just, sort of kind of the spotlight's on you in a good way, not ever in an irritating way, the way it can be with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm similar to you in that I'll transform maybe with a drink or two. And I find that the more people there are, the quieter I become.
Yeah, same. But I think we talk about that all the time. If we had the same personality, we don't think it would have worked.
Yeah,
like if there was two Rachels, no, there's too much Rachel for that to happen.
I don't like myself that much. But yeah, it couldn't be both of us. But the balance that we have worked out so well because I am a lot. Sometimes like I do things that, I'm like, oh, maybe that was too much. So Bryan is a good sounding board for me. So I feel like I can pull a lot from him in ways that I'm not. And it allows me to check myself, which I wouldn't be able to do really if I didn't have him. We're really like he said, the yin and the yang, the opposites attract thing, but then our foundation is the same. We had a lot of similarities that we found out on The Bachelor, like a lot of things in common with our hobbies, the way we were raised. Both of our parents are still together. Both of them are around like 41, 42 years. Ooh, so were just, our values, our morals were the same, but then the way we go through life is different. But like, I need a little bit more of Bryan and Bryan needs a little bit more of me. And so that's why when we're together, it's really great.
Like a great balance. Yeah.
Did you guys, and this is just the nature of the beast, but you are, in addition to romantic partners, you're kind of business partners just because of where you came from to some degree. Mm-hmm. How does that
less
work?
Than most Bachelor couples, I would say, though, like
but
way less.
How does that work in the relationship?
Well, I think there's a reason we're less than most. I don't think we would work. We don't really work that well together, right, babe? Like we can say that.
Well, like business wise?
Yeah, like we don't really work that well together.
Well, at the same time, I mean, if you want to say we don't work together that well, I mean, I would think it's more because we have really two separate like brands.
But I just think we go about it in a like I said, I'm type A, and I think it would just drive. And like sometimes I have a tendency to micromanage, and it's just like not great. So, and Bryan works in a totally different way. I mean, he runs his own business, but he runs it totally different, and it works for him and it's successful for him. I think when we come together, like, cause we've talked about like, oh, maybe we should do a podcast together. You guys, look at where we are.
How do you guys do it?
I mean, I think it's challenging.
Yeah. Charlene already yelled at me today about the podcast.
It's funny. Like for the most part, we're ourselves. It's just inevitably one of you is going to be feeling like you're doing most of the work.
It's the same, any business. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, everything, all the research, all the tech stuff, all the editing, like pretty much he just shows up.
See, this is this is exactly what we would talk about.
Right here, man. That's me and you right there.
Charlie, this would be me. I would be like, really? Yeah.
I mean, there have been moments where we'll do the whole setup, and we're in our 1-bedroom apartment in New York City right now, so it's not like we have a separate studio where everything's set up and ready to go. So every time we do it, and it's not just setting up the equipment. I need to have my hair done and I have my outfit picked out, and so we'll set up, and then he'll
just
arrive.
shows up in his Hanes t-shirt and
just-
ready to go.
Ready to go. We're not even kidding. He wears the same shirt every time. And sometimes he'll just like not really be in the right mood. And I'll be like, why didn't you tell me beforehand?
Charlene, I understand you.
Yeah. I just need the warning before I put on my makeup.
You guys make it work. I think, if we had to, yes, we could. We would there would have to be some compromises that were made. But for the most part, we really don't work together unless it's like an appearance or social
like a joint venture.
It's a lot easier to do. Or this.
For the most part, I've got to say, I'm impressed by how separate you guys manage to keep things. Because, as a, not to use this term, but like as a Bachelor Nation power couple, a lot of those couples tend to like every single photo and it's all about them all the time. And I really like how you guys do have, it's like you've almost made a concerted effort to maintain those individual brands.
Smart.
Yeah, I think for us, one, we were, and I'm using quotations for all those listening, I'm using air quotes, we were older than most people coming on the show. So I was 32 when I was the Bachelorette. Bryan was 37. So we were both established in our own right and had our careers coming in. I was an attorney. He was a chiropractor, or is a chiropractor. And I think that because we had our own identity, we went back to those ways, and we weren't trying to like come together and start a business together or a platform together or trying to like succeed in that way. We found each other, and that's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, it's like what we came there to do.
Yeah, and then we're going after our other dreams and what it is that we want to pursue.
I mean, you guys are the poster children for why everyone on the show should be a little older, I think.
Yeah, this is the first time I've actually spoken to someone on this podcast with a 4 handle in front of their name.
He's very excited
It's
about you,
unbelievable.
Brian.
With a what now?
A 4. You got a 4,
He's excited
right?
that you're
Aren't
40.
you 40?
Oh, yeah, I'm the big 4-0, man.
4 handle.
Yeah, I have not experienced 4. 4 is crazy.
Yeah, you're our first 40 on this podcast, and Andy's so excited.
It's amazing.
I'll take that as a compliment.
I mean, it's a compliment,
maturity.
but it makes me feel better.
Absolutely. A little different maturity on the
I
set.
love it. It goes such a long way in this world. And I mean, even with Claire I don't know if y'all are paying, Charlene, I know you do, but I don't know if you pay attention to like the Claire season, but she went in and she went out. Like she was like, I don't have time for all of this.
Yeah.
She knew what she wanted.
Yeah.
So to get back to the ways in which you complement each other, would you say you were specifically looking for those traits when you were looking?
Ooh.
And if not, what were you looking for?
I knew when I came on this podcast that you were going to ask really, really good questions. Questions that it's one of the things I really love about you. And I knew that they were questions that I had not been asked before.
I love her.
I guess yes. I mean, for me, I wanted someone who, I definitely don't remember whatever I said on Jimmy Kimmel. Apologies, but I'm glad you knew that you fit them.
I was paying attention.
Okay, we'll start with there. Bryan pays attention. He listens. I wanted someone who did that. I was in both Bryan and I came from long-term relationships before coming on the show. And there were certain things that I learned about myself and what I wanted out of that relationship that I knew I wanted in the next one. And one of those was that someone who listened, someone who really made me a priority. Like I don't need to be the center. Obviously there's other things in Bryan's life, but that made me feel like I was important in their life. And then also I wanted it to be aligned in the same values and how we wanted to raise a family. And I wanted someone who also was supportive of my dreams and goals and allowed me to be myself. That was taken away from me in a past relationship as well. Bryan had all of those things and then so much more. Like the bonus is that, he's attractive. That wasn't even necessarily on my list. The bonus is that he's funny, and we're able to have great conversation with one another, that he loves sports, even though he just dissed my Cowboys on this podcast. We're going to let that one go. That's strike one. We're going to let that go.
Uh-oh. Beginning of the end.
But yeah. I mean, definitely Bryan check. If I had a list, which I got rid of before The Bachelorette, Bryan checked off pretty much everything, if not adding to it.
I would say, like I was looking for the total package in a sense. And I mean, I even think I said it on the show. I mean, obviously besides her beauty, I think the personality is, shines through as well. Like I said, she lights up a room whenever she walks in. So for me, it wasn't just the beauty, it was the personality, it was the ambition, the drive that she has. I mean, the fact that she makes me a better man and want to better myself for her, that was a big factor. The fact that she's funny, of course, loving sports. I mean, that is rare. That is very rare to find in a woman. And the fact that she actually knows her sports. It wasn't just, name some mascots and some teams and go Cowboys and like has no idea, only knows Dak Prescott as a quarterback and that's it. Like, no, she knew like a little game planning, a little X's and O's. So I was just really impressed with that. So the fact that we could watch Sports Center or First Take on every day of the week when we were together, it was just absolutely fabulous.
Wow. Are you at the painting your face level of sports fandom?
No. Not even close.
No. You're not even close. Okay. I'm just trying to get a bearing here.
No. Just some paraphernalia.
Okay.
But you know what Bryan gave me that I didn't know I needed? I also wanted someone who balanced me. I thought compliments me, which yes, you want, but the balance and like calms me down. I have never been a homebody. I like to be on the go, but I can sit and do nothing with Bryan. We can do the most simple things. If you would have told me we were going to be in quarantine for months and months and months, I would have said, I'll lose my mind. Bryan and I had the best time with one another. We needed, I guess we needed that because I've been on the go so much, but it was beautiful. And I feel like we learned more about one another, and just being still and present with one another was the best thing ever. And that's something this relationship has given me that I didn't even know I needed.
It's the best test of a relationship. Living together is obviously a precursor to any successful
it's a huge test.
But to live with each other during quarantine, to basically live in a, for lack of a better term, a prison cell, is like...
I'm sure that'll offend someone somehow, but yeah.
But I mean, can you give more of an endorsement to a relationship after you've made it successfully through that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You make it through quarantine, you can basically make it through anything, Yeah,
and I feel like it's sort of sped up some relationships, maybe some boyfriend, girlfriends who were like in those beginning stages, and then it just sort of...
Or
goes straight to the year mark.
Yeah,
I
really.
feel like after a couple months.
Goodbye.
So many ended. So many relationships. You're forced to face each other. There are no distractions. And that was a fear of mine coming off the show. You're so in this bubble, you get all caught up in it, and you want to make sure that it can work in reality. And then you leave the show and everyone's coming at you. You're at your peak as far as popularity. You're traveling, you're getting free trips, you're having all these appearances. So when all that is stripped away, where do you stand with one another? Mm-hmm. And I mean, we recognized that before quarantine, but I think when you come off the show, it's the biggest, one of the biggest fears you have. Is this person really the person that they say they are?
Well, so that actually, I'm going to go out of order then, because I did have a question about that. What would you say the pros and cons were of that, the TV aspect, it being in such a public eye? On the surface, you would be like, okay, it's just a bunch of cons. That's what, me being super pragmatic, I'm like, oh, that wouldn't serve a relationship at all. But were there pros and were there cons? What was your experience with that?
I mean, obviously, I was blessed to be in the experience just because at the end of the day, I found her. But there's so many more positives than there are negatives. I mean, we definitely got a lot of, which all couples do coming off that show. There's always going to be haters and trolls and people that comment. And, we actually got a lot of hate in her being the first lead of color. There was some nasty racist comments that we still get to this day. I literally think it's the same person.
That person is very sad.
They always say certain words exactly the same. So it's like, I know it's you. Like, stop making these 855 accounts just to come back at us and troll us. But I mean, if that's all,
can you imagine having that kind of free time?
Yeah, seriously.
Incredible. That's what you do with your free time.
Yeah.
It's like they're renting they're taking up space in their heads. But yeah, it's just, I mean, but if that's the worst thing that can happen, I mean, so many great things have happened ever since. I mean, our relationship has grown so much. And one of the things that I wanted to tell you before that I love about Rachel was that she keeps me on my toes. You know, in past relationships, I don't want to say I was bored, but like there was something missing. Like they were missing that X factor. And it's funny, there's a line that Drake says, he says, have a little attitude and it'll make it last. So, babe, you do have a little attitude, but I like that.
I'm free to have it.
I like that little. I think the person that I'm with, I think they need to have that. I can't just have super sweet all the time. Like I need a little, you know, I need her to fight me a little bit.
Oh, you're in good company.
Guys heard
Andy
it.
You feel that way wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I feel like it's important, like whoever's driving the car in a relationship, I think it's important to know that the person in the passenger seat can take over the driving. That's the way I see it. And I feel like I would let Charlene drive the whole way if she wanted to.
But just in case.
Just in case. You never know.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with what Bryan said. There are obviously a lot of pros. I think everybody knows what they are, but the cons are, I think people think they know who you are and they really, really don't. And there's a lot of misconceptions that people have about us as a relationship. I mean, right now, you let people talk. Bryan and I are getting a divorce.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that's true. If you Google us right now, we're getting a divorce.
Oh, my God.
Because
I heard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
You know, thank you. We appreciate that. I mean, because we don't flaunt our relationship all over social media. We're bicoastal with one another right now, but people act as if your relationship is defined by only what they can see. And we fell in love in such a public way. So it's very important for us to have some privacy now that we can control how our relationship is. That's very important to us. We don't need to showcase it and let everybody know what's going on. So I think just like the misconceptions that people have and being misunderstood, I'm very outspoken. And Charlene, so are you. We say things or write things that maybe other people are too afraid to say in this world. And so I think a lot of times we get misunderstood when it comes to that. And so that's kind of been a con as well.
She's going to make me cry.
Uh-oh.
No, because that's my biggest difficulty in all this. And I can't even imagine like the scale that the two of you are on. You know, even just since we've started this little baby podcast, you know, there are people speculating about our relationship and, you know, what the kinds of people we are. And I'm curious, Rachel, how that affects you, if at all. Like, what is your personality type with that? Does it bother you? Does it get to you? Both of you.
For the most part, no. I'm really good at compartmentalizing things. But I definitely have my moments, you know, and Bryan knows, like I'll come to him, it'll just be something that just really bothers me, or I'm so upset because I think everyone should understand what I meant or what happened, or understand something between Bryan and I. And I'm just like so frustrated that once again, these preconceived notions are placed on me, or these stereotypes are placed on me, but this person can get a pass for doing what I did or worse. But I don't get that same latitude when it comes to things. And so, you know, that's when like Bryan's very good at like calming me down and comforting me and bringing me back, you know, to myself. But for the most part, to answer your question, no, but I definitely have my moments. And honestly, I think it's kind of therapeutic when I do, because everything doesn't roll off your back. Everything isn't always okay. And some things do get to you. We're human at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like she says, like I'm a little bit more of I'm the balance with her. You did have a tendency to clap back.
I used to. Oh my gosh.
You used to.
Yes.
You don't do it so as much anymore. But yeah, you used to clap back, and you know, I maybe would be a little hesitant. I told you, hey babe, why don't you chill out on this one, or pick your battles. so to speak.
They sound exactly like us.
Yeah.
But I still have moments, right? Like I called my co-host fiance, now ex-fiance, a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean, I was like, okay, that's going to be national news.
Not okay. Brian goes, were you drunk? I go, it was midday. I hadn't had a drink at all. Middle of the afternoon.
That's the way
and I
to
was
do
like,
it.
he is. And then all this comes out and people are like, okay, Rachel was on to something.
Oh,
I mean, I guess it's like, it's crazy because everybody wants, everybody that watches the show wants real and raw, and like that's what's attractive. But then when you actually get it, now people are upset. They want you to revert back to, just looking pretty and posting pretty pictures and everything's
true.
kumbaya.
So
but
is so
Rachel is the type of woman that if you ask her a question, she's going to be 100% honest, and it's going to rub people the wrong way. And it is what it is.
So refreshing, though. Oh my
How
God.
dare you be so real on TV?
It's
Shame
this
on you.
Bachelorette facade. It's like they want to see you, but they don't want to hear from you. You're supposed to be pretty and looked at. Like they make it seem like you're the lead and you have all this power. But the show is set up for women to be saved at the end of the day. And I actually have an issue with
point.
that. So you really don't have as much power as they make it seem just because you're the lead of the show. It's still set up the same way. Like we just want to look at you and you to be perfect. We actually
That
don't
particularly bothered me about Claire's season was just, how he was the one that she chose. It felt like this should have been her narrative, and then suddenly at the very last second, it became all about her hoping that he wanted her back. Everything about it was just suddenly she was in this position where she needed to be saved, and it drove me crazy.
Got to get back to the basics of the show.
Yes. But to just take it back 2 steps to Rachel, when you said sometimes it's almost therapeutic, and how Bryan comforts you, we can relate to that so hard because typically I will get upset in the moment and maybe want to clap back, to use Bryan's terminology, but he's very like calming for me. And when I do finally have a meltdown, you're right. Like it is therapeutic. I almost think it would be better for me to just have mini meltdowns more often instead of letting it build up. But yeah. You guys are so great to talk to. Okay. You want to ask or do you want me to ask?
I will ask. What was an early hurdle in your relationship? If there was one.
I mean, pretty much the day after we were announced.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh,
That's good.
go ahead, babe.
I mean, obviously the editing is very key on this show, and it basically played out that she was crazy about the other guy, and I was confident the whole time, but the way the narrative played out and the way it was edited, it just made it seem like she was like I was her second choice. So then the next day when we got announced and we did all this media, that's all they would ask about. What did you think about the other guy? Rachel, did you really want to pick Bryan? And obviously that was very frustrating because we had just gotten off. We had just finished this beautiful love story. We were ready to announce it to the world and show everybody how much we loved each other. And that's pretty much all they asked us. So we just got frustrated. And it was just a really, really frustrating day.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it actually made us stronger because we always talk about it. It's like, if we could get through that, we can get through anything.
It was bad. We had to kick everyone out of the room. Like I just broke down because I was stuck in this place of I'm trying to defend my relationship and I'm trying to, make sure that, I'm protecting what we have and I'm standing up for Bryan, but at the same time, I'm under contract. So it's like
that would drive me crazy.
What do I do? And it just got to the point where I broke down. Bryan and I had a talk. We kicked everyone out the room. And then we were like, you know what? We're going to be a united force. And I was respectful, but then I just started telling the truth. Because what I hated about the show is I was myself and I need to see every relationship through to the very end. So when I made my decision, I could say I saw everything through and I wanted you. I didn't stop short. I didn't prematurely send someone home. I didn't quit after 12 days. I saw everything through. So I could say, I've explored every single relationship and you're the person that I want. And I know that wasn't always comfortable for Bryan to watch, but I needed to do that. So I knew that I was making the right decision. And then people turn that against you.
I've got to say that your season was, as much as I loved you, Rachel, and your guys' story, I found the narrative of your relationship very frustrating to watch. I often talk about in my recaps how much an edit does the final love story justice, because ultimately that is, what their purported reason for the show being is. Mm-hmm. And so if you can't even make the millions of viewers watching it fall in love with the two of you together, then what the hell are you doing? And it just always bugged me how it just felt so like two-dimensional, the two of you specifically, which is sort of ties into what I said at the beginning of this episode, which is selfishly, I wanted to have you on just so that I could ask more about like how you complement each other and all this sort of like the little things that frankly I felt were missing from watching your season.
Oh yeah. I mean, Bryan had opened up to me about his parents' relationship and how that's what he wanted and how they had been together and how his dad had cancer and how he saw what his mom did and how she sacrificed so much to take care of him and like how his parents got together. There was so much that people didn't get to see. And what we learned from it is the show doesn't care about your love story. They care about making the next lead for the following season. So we can keep this thing going. And that's what it was. It's about making you fall in love with who could be the potential bachelor or bachelorette, because we're not about, when you have your love story, we announce it and you go on and that's it. So
you're already obsolete.
Yeah.
Like a new Apple product.
Next.
Right. Here's a one-way ticket to wherever you guys want to go. That's how it is.
Yeah. Your love check. We'll take credit for that for eternity and, bye now. Okay, so speaking of hurdles, this is a popular question. It's Andy's go-to question. So do you want to ask it?
Yeah. So how do you guys fight?
Andy loves this one.
Ooh. We definitely fight differently. That's for sure.
Yeah. Wait, what would you say?
I said, do you fight?
Yeah, I fight. What do you mean?
We fight.
I like the way he's defense. Like, I fight. I fight.
Yeah. No, we definitely fight. It can get sometimes nasty. I mean, we definitely have raised our voice at each other. And I think we deal with it a little differently. Like early on, I think that was a very hard thing for her to get a grasp on because I needed a beat to kind of gather my emotions, and I didn't want to solve the situation right there. So let's say we just got out of a yelling match over whatever topic, and then we just stopped talking for a little bit. She would want to keep talking about it and just drag it on and like solve the problem right then and there. And I needed a little bit of time to calm my emotions down, get a level head, and then come back maybe a couple hours later. And then we could come back respectfully, talk it out without yelling at each other, and then it would be squashed. But she had a little bit of trouble with that early on. But once she understood that, it's like, okay, let's chill out for a second.
I struggle with it. I
love the honesty.
I can go from 0 to 100. Like I do have a temper, and I feel like over my 35 years, I'm very good at like controlling it. But sometimes I still go there. I'm not perfect. But it's better for me if I am getting upset and you're seeing it, because it's really bad if I have no reaction. That it's like
with any woman. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes. It's like you don't want that. It's
when a woman is fed up.
It's taking another turn.
You don't want that.
But we definitely
you want screaming. Screaming is good compared to nothing.
Right. And Bryan is I am more vocal when I'm upset, but Bryan is very direct, straight to the point, in a quieter but impactful way when he's upset, which again goes to our personality. I'm fiery.
That's not a very Colombian way of being, Bryan.
He's not.
No,
machismo.
yeah. There's a stereotype about Colombian men that they're just, it's called machista, and I mean, I have a little bit of it in me, but not to the extent where it's a very toxic to the relationship.
But Bryan's parents have this same dynamic that we have. So
like my mom is like your personalities are very alike, and my dad is very chill, more reserved. Yeah. So, I mean, that's basically what I saw in her. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I just get along great with that type of personality.
I can relate to that, Bryan. Like Andy shares a lot of traits with my dad. Like all my favorite traits.
Not in a weird way, by the way. Yeah.
But and they, not surprisingly, get along really well. But yeah, there's like part of my sense of humor was shaped by my dad, so it makes sense that I would find funny a guy who has a similar sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's natural.
Yeah, exactly. So your fighting style sound a little different. Rachel, it sounds like you get a little more heated. Bryan, you need a second. So how would you say you solve or you resolve that conflict? Is it just taking that breath?
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of times where I've been a little, I don't even know if you know this, babe, but like I'm kind of worried about what the re-encounter is going to be like. And then I'm actually pleasantly surprised because she'll step up to the plate and actually apologize and like, we'll talk about it. And I was
if I'm in the wrong.
That went, no.
Which is never.
That's such a big caveat.
So like we come back together and I've been pleasantly surprised on numerous occasions where it's like, wow, that went way better than I expected. Like I felt like there would still be tension and it could just blow up in any moment. But after we took our time to relax and kind of think things over, I would be pleasantly surprised that she would come back with a level head and, she would tell me what she thought she did wrong. And then in turn, that calmed me down. And I'd be like, you know what? I totally get you. I was wrong when I said this and did this. And then we just make up. Like we're very mature in that sense where we both have learned to look in the mirror. And then once we come together, we just squash whatever is going on.
It's a good thing you don't live in my head because it's years of therapy that gets me back. Truly, that gets me back to. I'm a big believer in therapy. That gets me back to a calm place because my initial reaction is defense mode, and so like I'll immediately start like I'll put a wall up. I'll get angry. I don't want to be vulnerable. And I'll just like start protecting myself. And I'll start thinking of like, well, that's fine. Like, I don't really need to talk to him, for this amount of time because I can take care of it. Like, truly, it's the worst. Like I immediately shut down.
I go there too. Like my immediate sort of knee jerk reaction is like, well, fuck him.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't need this shit. Like it just goes to this rage.
Yeah, you immediately start thinking about like leaving.
Yeah, I like
moving
start
into
packing
a new
my
apartment,
bag.
being with another guy.
I'm just
It's
kidding.
like immediate.
But, I mean, I'm kidding in terms of our relationship because that's, I think, how we knew that this relationship was different was the fact that you don't start packing your bags.
Right.
But yeah, in past relationships, certainly, you feel like there's a straw that breaks that camel's back and you're like, I'm like, you're just sort of like go all the way to the end.
There's a big difference. Like, honestly, like in some relationships, I would look forward to those big fights because I'd be like, here's my opportunity to get out of this. Like, I want this to be
This is the big one.
Yeah. Totally.
I've been working towards this for months.
Like, finally, I told them all this would happen. No,
yeah, it's
not
so
good.
funny how that works. No, I totally get you. And I know that's how I know Bryan is different because then I start thinking of like, oh my gosh, like this is like he softens me. Like he'll walk past me and like I literally, and I shouldn't tell you this because I'm like telling you my secrets, but he melts me and I just like immediately become soft and I'm like, I start thinking about what he's feeling. I would never do that before. I'm the one who's upset about it. And I start just thinking of it a different way. And I actually have started to need a beat to like gather my emotions, gather my feelings, gather my thoughts so that I can go to him in the right way. So I appreciate the break that you like to take because it actually gives me time to pull myself together so I don't pop off and say the wrong thing.
And that
It's
just
like
goes,
a forced break. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that just goes to show like the maturity that we had going on to the show. Like I knew being 37, I knew that I would have that to my advantage because I had long relationships and I had been in love, fallen out of love. I'd broken hearts. I've had my heart broken. So I think what she was saying earlier, you know, she had gone to therapy. She had experienced all these things. So we both knew what we wanted. And we came together at the right time. I always say timing is everything. And I think it was just the two right people at the right time coming together. And, you know, that it's just a testament to our relationship.
And willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Willing to put in the work. Like we talk about all the time. If I had met Rachel at 25 and Bryan at 30, probably wouldn't have worked. That blowout fight probably would have packed.
Would have ended it. We talk about that too.
Honest. Yeah, we talk about that all the time.
When I first moved to New York, I actually worked at a restaurant on this very street. Like, so Andy already lived in this apartment and I worked a block and a half away. And we've spoken before.
Thank God we didn't meet.
Yeah, I was like, I had just moved to the city. I was like 21. Like, thank God we did not meet.
Yeah. Wouldn't have worked. I always think age is such an advantage on the show. If you've experienced enough, if you're like 37 and you've never had a functional relationship, then obviously not. But
yeah,
you know, it really should work to your advantage.
So a popular question that I get, you know, or that we get now that we have this podcast is, how do you know? Everyone wants to know if you believe in just knowing and if you knew and all that stuff. Do you believe in the one or that aha moment or just knowing with a capital K?
I mean, for me, that initial spark, I mean, our initial intro was pretty special.
Yeah.
Like it was just so smooth, so seamless. We joke about it all the time. We did like this little dap and it was like perfect, like no rehearsal, perfect. And it was just like the key going in the keyhole. Like it was just so perfect. And the interaction was just so perfect. So like right from Jump Street, I knew that, okay, this is going to be special. How special, I didn't know at the time. Obviously, I was competing with 30 other dudes, but I knew we had already, you know, hit it right off. So, and then, like I said, everything was just a pleasant surprise from there on in. And what do we say? Geneva was the moment that we knew.
Which was our second date. But it was more for me. Like Bryan said, I knew we were going to be lovers, friends, or both, you know, which was the best case scenario. But when we had the second date, I just needed to know that he wasn't this smooth operator. I wanted to know about past relationships and why he was here, because to me, he was such a catch. And without even having to ask those questions, he gave that to me. Then meeting his family solidified it even more, going to his hometown. Everything felt so effortless, so natural. So like, I just knew, I knew it was him, but I will tell you an aha moment. And this is after the engagement. It was right after, like, getting engaged on TV is still the weirdest thing. It's special, but
what's so weird about it? It's totally normal.
It's I don't know where to start. No, it's so weird when it's over and they're like, season wrapped. And you're like, okay. I'm like, okay, I had this big ring on my finger. It doesn't fit. Oh my gosh, we're engaged. We're in the middle of nowhere. Our parents don't know. I was actually terrified to call my parents and let them know. And then all of a sudden you get to do normal things. Oh, you and Bryan can ride in the car with each other and you're going back to your hotel room. And it's just a very scary, scary moment. So
I think I know what you're going to say.
It was the next, well, yes, they leave you alone and we were with each other and Bryan got emotional and there were no cameras around. And I was like, wow, like that was real, but that wasn't the moment. The moment was the next day. We're in our happy couples house and we're in the kitchen. And I'm like, you want to play some, we're like cleaning dishes. I'm like, you want to play some music? And I'm playing like old school R&B and it's my playlist and Bryan is singing the songs. And these are things we didn't talk about. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then on the way there, I started talking about this show that we both like, Martin, and he's quoting it. And it's like, we didn't even talk about these things. And it was like little things like that. And I remember I told him, I was like, I so made the right decision. Like I knew it, but I definitely knew it because it was like little things we were learning about each other. So anyways, that was just an aha moment.
She called me Jerome.
Cute.
She called me Jerome from that day
That's
on.
his
That was like our code name. It was Linda and Jerome.
Ooh. I like
Yeah.
that. For when you like check into hotels and things. Did you guys do the whole wig
Yep.
thing? Okay.
No,
nice.
we didn't do the wig thing.
Oh, you didn't
we
do
were
the
really
wigs.
good. We were really
Okay.
good.
All right. So one last question, and then we'll get to the game. What do you think your single friends who are actually looking are doing wrong?
Ooh,
And we can skip
another
if you
good
want.
question. Most of Brian's friends are married.
Yeah.
And the one
divorced.
that's not.
Yeah, the one.
There's
I don't even want to tell anybody what he's doing, but
Sounds fun.
let's just say he's getting with the wrong type of females, making bad decisions.
Yeah, really bad. I would say most of my girlfriends are single, actually. And I would say they are chasing the idea of a man. Like they want what they think is glamorous or what they think is great, and rather than what works and what would be good for them. So maybe they're actually not ready to settle down.
You're
Such a good
preaching to the
answer.
choir. Charlene is always yelling about this.
Yeah.
Yelling.
Yelling at the top
They
of my
want-
lungs.
Yeah.
Like to your girlfriends who are single.
I mean, more delicately, but I mean, Rachel just put it very delicately. But yeah, as we did another Love Fest with Leslie Murphy, and she said it's sort of similar, Rachel, to what you're saying. It's like she felt her friends have this like laundry list of just this, they're so picky. And like you said, it's this idea, and I don't really know where that came from because I feel like we're past the point where you sort of expect, your shining knight or whatever. But it's the number of demands, and expectations.
It's like get rid of the list. Get rid of the list.
Yeah.
You
and
did, right,
focus
babe?
on the
You got rid of the
traits.
list. Exactly.
Yeah, I always say if I was still holding on to a list, I wouldn't have been prepared to meet Brian. Hands down. I would
What
not.
does Brian not have on the list?
You know what?
I check everything off.
I actually
Everything.
spoke about this. Have you guys seen the Uncomfortable Conversations web series that's going around?
Haven't seen
We
it,
did.
no.
So it's this guy, Emmanuel Acho, and he it's like uncomfortable conversations with a black man, and it's different topics. And one of them was interracial couples.
Oh, wait, I did see it. I saw the episode with you.
Yeah.
You guys,
and
yes,
I
it was great.
said one of the things on my list is I felt like I had to be with a black man. And so that's why I say I would have, like, if we were in a bar, I would have been like, oh, he's cute. But in my mind, that's what I thought I had. Like, there was a time where I was like, that's what I'm supposed to be with. And so that's why I say if I still had that list, Brian would. It's like that's truly the only thing that.
Wow.
And
That's
religion.
amazing.
I will say religion too. I felt like Brian had to worship the exact same way that I was because that's what I had been taught. And then I started to question that, and I thought, Brian morally is exactly what I would want and has the same values. I can't believe that I would turn away this fantastic man because he doesn't worship the exact same way that I was taught. He doesn't have the same religion that I had. Like I couldn't believe I would say no to him for that.
Wow.
She's so
Every
refreshing.
woman was as reasonable.
I know,
as
she's the
Rachel.
best.
I had to get there. I wasn't always that way, but I was like, I can't believe I would say no to him and he has the same values I have just because he doesn't have the same religion as me. Like I couldn't believe that I was going to do that. So, I
But
did.
so many people
Good
do.
for you. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So many
many
do.
people.
Yeah. It's just right off. It's like deal breaker, deal breaker, deal breaker.
Yeah.
I have one quick question.
Go
It's
for
a
it.
yes or no question. And
Okay,
literally, you cannot
Andy.
elaborate. It is yes
Okay.
or no.
Okay.
When both of you were about to go on the show, did either of you think that you would meet someone of this caliber?
No.
Okay. Brian?
Yes.
But did you think you were going to fall for me? Like you thought you were going to get married on the show or from as your mother says, the girl of the show.
I Listen, I am like a hopeless romantic by nature. So yes, I know you were pessimistic going in. You're like, I'm not gonna marry any of these dudes. Like, I'm gonna leave this show single.
Reasonable.
But I was very hopeful. I guess obviously seeing her before. I mean, you hadn't laid eyes on us, but I had seen you. I was like, okay, we could get along. You never know. So I was very positive going in. And then, like I said, once the initial spark and that initial one-on-one attraction was there, like right from the jump, I mean, that was for me, I knew it could happen. It was a possibility.
Yep.
Wow.
That's very sweet. All right, you guys. Gabby will be happy to know that we're going to move on to the Newlyweds Game now.
We suck at this game. We haven't done that. We haven't done this in years.
How do you know you suck?
Yeah, how do you know?
We played it before.
We did it like right after the show. So we've done this in years, guys. So maybe we're
You've had time to practice.
We got you. Okay.
The lawyer and the chiropractor have the game rules down. We're all set.
Speaking of being, I'm sorry, Gabby, but speaking of being a chiropractor, Rachel, does he ever like do adjustments on you and stuff?
Woo! I'm the worst.
That's a sore subject. That's a sore subject.
I don't like the sound of popping. And,
we love the sound of popping.
And then, to be frank, the one time I was like, okay, I'm going to let him do it.
Stop.
I talk too much.
Stop.
I've got to let him do it. I was like, okay, he's going to do it. And he was like, just relax. And I did it. And I farted. And I will never do it again. He gets so embarrassed when I tell him that. But I was like, and that's why I was mortified. I was like, never again.
It's like a Sex of the City episode.
It is.
Right?
Totally is.
That's pretty great. That's awesome.
I mean, it's as if anything, you both got more out of that session than most chiropractic sessions, right?
Yeah. And Bryan was like, it happens to people
I cured
sometimes.
her irritable bowel
Not me.
syndrome.
And now, our favorite part. Angie's excited. The Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game. Yay!
Yay.
You guys were, while you were writing your answers, you were endearingly insecure, but I could also tell you were quite confident. I'm interested to see how this goes. Bryan,
I feel like I was the confident one, and I feel like I'm going to be wrong.
I got my money on Rachel.
You do?
Yeah. Okay. I'm betting on Rachel.
I am too, but only because she exudes this like confidence in it, while Bryan's more like he had his head in his hands a bit.
I'm not second guessing myself. I'm just going with the first thing that popped in my head. So we shall see.
Okay. All right. So question number 1, we will start, Rachel, with you.
Okay.
Rachel, who is your celebrity crush?
I like the way it's just one name. What about Idris Johnson or Idris Steinberg? Which one?
He got it right.
Oh, nicely done, Bryan.
Wow, nice.
Very nice.
Yes, that was one of several.
That is a long list.
I love that while you were like making jokes about how it was just one name, he was getting it right.
I didn't see it. It was too far away. You were little.
Very good, Bryan. Bryan gets
Very nice.
one.
Very
All
nice.
right, Bryan.
So how did you did you feel confident that that was the one out of the 3, or you just sort of randomly
Yeah,
picked
that
it?
was one of the ones that I've heard the most.
During sex, of course.
I hope not.
All right, Bryan, who is your celebrity crush?
I know I don't know this.
Oh.
Again, one of several.
I was gonna write her.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Write her.
Oh.
I knew it. I was going. I feel like I should get a point.
Oh, you said J-Lo. Oh,
J-Lo's
sorry.
very attractive.
I literally was gonna write Eva Mendes. I'm mad at myself. I second guessed myself.
Sure, Rachel.
Partial credit? No.
Oh, no.
1-0, Bryan.
1-0.
Okay, calm down.
He's proving us all wrong here. Okay, question number 2. Rachel, you're stranded on a desert island and can only take 3 things. What are those 3 things?
Mine are
A book, sunglasses, and a knife.
It's very practical.
First of all, when I give mine, I only listed one because I knew you said that we could get one, right?
Oh,
as
so
long
you
as
just
we
rolled
get
the
one
dice.
right. As long as we
Yeah,
get
I
one
think
right.
if you get one right.
One right, you win, yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty easygoing here at Dear Shandy.
I mean,
We want you to get the points.
And we appreciate that.
You've totally said this before, babe.
What did I say?
Shoes.
Oh, I did say shoes. I did say that.
That was like the first thing. He's like, I wouldn't want to walk in all that swamp.
It's actually a very good one.
I
bugs.
did say shoes.
Brian, what are the others?
I mean, that's an easy.
You have to write 3.
That's it.
You're supposed to write 3.
She would just have shoes.
Okay.
By the way, you could literally have never met Rachel in your life, and the answer "shoes" for something she would really want is probably,
Yeah, for any
it's a
woman.
good for any woman.
Answer.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's always a good answer.
I love that he placed all his bets on shoes.
I was so positive.
He is right. When we watched that show, Naked and Afraid, I would always say, these people are going around barefoot, walking on all these things. You got to have shoes. That's the one thing. I do say that. I forgot.
We'll take your word for it, but unfortunately.
But unfortunately, not today.
And not today.
Wow.
Brian.
She kind of sabotaged him on that one.
Did we?
Right?
I think Rachel sabotaged him.
Oh no, I forgot.
She should be deducted a point, I think.
We'll talk about that
We
later.
actually haven't thought
I don't
about
have
how.
any points.
-1.
It's like Jeopardy when they go,
Okay, Brian, what are the 3 things you would bring with you to a deserted island?
I chose a lighter / fire starter, a machete, and mosquito repellent, a bug repellent.
So practical. I love it. A machete.
We've thought about these things. Sadly, we've thought about this question.
Listen, when it gets dark out there, you need to start a fire.
It's so
no, I mean, these are very good things.
It's a very good-
These are
okay,
the best possible 3 things you could bring.
Okay, Rachel, what did you
You're
put?
bringing
I put
water. I'm bringing
knife,
water.
Fire starter, and water.
Oh, fire starter.
Oh,
She
so
gets that point.
She won.
What?
She won.
Well, she gets
I got
that
a point.
point.
I guess.
They both got a point.
No, he didn't get.
No, he didn't.
Oh, we got shoes, right.
Yeah. He put it all on shoes.
I mean, it's always a good answer.
I
as we
gambled.
discussed.
You did. You did. It did not pay off. So 1-1. All right. Keeping things interesting. Question number 3. Rachel, what was your favorite childhood pet's name?
Smokey.
Smokey.
Oh,
Wow.
very nice. Brian,
That's
very
right.
good.
My Russian blue cat, Smokey.
Oh, I love Russian blue cats.
Andy's a big
So
cat
great.
person.
So great. There's a picture of him on a memorialized on a plate back there behind Brian.
Are you serious? Can I see that plate,
Brian,
please?
Brian, show him Smokey.
Oh, I got to see this. Oh no. Oh, shit.
Oh,
it's good?
So
Oh, okay, good.
Oh my God.
I thought that was glass.
I just had a heart attack.
Plate on top.
It fell out. There's in the move. We lost a piece in the move. Anyways, that's Smokey.
That's not my fault.
No, it's not your fault.
Who are
All
these
I know is that my heart just stopped.
Who are these people behind Smokey?
What the hell is going on?
Who are those people?
What? Lost family? What is this?
Oh my
Brian,
God.
take a picture of that so I can show that to my mom and ask her who those people are. That
Okay.
is hilarious.
The world is going to want to know who those people are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm gonna tell you what this means. So I was so distraught. My cat died in like a freak accident that my mom made that for me. So now I'm realizing that maybe this plate was something she already had for something. I'm not quite sure. She cut the picture out and replaced it. And yeah, that's hilarious. That thing is like 20 years old.
How is this just
if
being
that one-
figured out
I
now?
don't know, but that's the things that happen on the podcast. I'm dying.
That is pretty great. I want to know the backstory now.
I do
Beginning
too.
of- It's like a beginning of an
weirdly
Agatha
creeped
Christie.
out.
Well, that's the thing. If this were a movie, that
whodunit.
plate would be like the key to some
Yeah, it's like a
underground-
horror movie,
Yeah.
mystery, some suspense situation.
I have no idea.
That's incredible.
I truly thought
And
she
they're
broke the plate.
they're so random too. Like I couldn't imagine 2 more random human beings on the back of that Russian blue cat picture.
And I don't even know. They don't even look related. It's
It's
like an older man with a kid.
Right.
Like,
So
Yeah.
you have to take a picture of that
I
and
already-
send it to my mom.
I already sent it to you. I
think you need to call the FBI.
Wait, and is that, just to be clear, is that another photo placed on a plate or is that the
Is
plate?
it in the plate? Or was it a photo?
They're both like paper, like they just printed out a picture of something. So
maybe she put that as like a like to hold it in.
Yes, it was like it seems like it was like the backdrop for Smokey.
Oh, maybe it was like a magazine picture or something.
Oh, maybe it's the stock photo that came with the plate.
Possibly.
Solve the mystery.
What are the odds that on this podcast we would see a plate with a dead Russian blue cat picture on it, and behind that was an unrelated young boy and an older man? I'm assuming they're
You never
unrelated.
know what's
That's
gonna
more
happen.
interesting.
That's pretty great. All I know is that you stopped my heart, Brian. Because right when she said "don't break it," it was like. Okay.
It was messed up. I do remember that. It's okay. We're not gonna
That would have also been amazing if it did shatter on the podcast, but not good. This is
good.
much better.
Yes, but also kind of amazing.
It's a beautiful cat.
That's very sad. I don't want to make light of it. I'm a big fan of cats and Russian blues. I had a Russian blue cat as my first love.
Rain.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a name. I love that name. Love that name.
Oh,
She's so great. Okay, Brian, you're
Rest
up.
in peace.
What is your favorite childhood pet's name?
Sunny.
that's great.
Sunny. Nice. 2-2.
From The Godfather or just
Cocker Spaniel.
Cocker Spaniel. You don't see those anymore, right? Back in the day, everyone had a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2-2. Very
Yeah,
good,
tight
you guys. Damn.
This is where it goes downhill.
Rachel, what is your most useless skill or talent?
Oh, we passed that one.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
But
Thank
it
you.
was double jointed thumbs. A thumb. One thumb. That's what I was going to say.
Just one.
Just one.
I love that it started as
Is that
thumbs and you're like, wait, actually just one.
That's
thing.
useful for getting out of handcuffs.
Is it?
Is it really?
think
Is it
so.
really? That's a good.
Everyone's
double-jointed,
believing
you
you
just,
right
like,
now. Are you
kinda
just
like-
talking out of your ass?
Yeah, I'm talking about it. What was your useless thing?
Yeah,
Just
I want to
curious.
know, Brian, what yours was.
I just put down a weird hand so I could. Hold on.
Weird.
Oh, you have shown me that before. You have shown me that, and I think I was like, "Why are you showing this to me?"
Wow, that is the most useless thing I've ever seen.
It's not even a talent.
We
It's just
passed
weird.
on that one.
not a-
I'm actually mad we didn't do that one.
Oh, and now the food one. Oh, that's going to just really pale in comparison. Question number 4. Rachel, what is your last meal on Earth? Pork chops.
Any
Brian,
preparation or just
this
anything?
is always my favorite food, and you know this.
I know, but I put like a full course of food.
Yeah, when you said, I knew you were going the wrong way when you started talking desserts. Did you put papados?
No, I got sushi. You love sushi.
That
Then I
would
have
never be my last meal.
grapes, wing stop.
That would have been second.
Whenever you're stressed, you eat Wingstop.
This is true.
You need the grease. So I
This is
figured
true.
you're about to die. You need Wingstop.
No. I want a
Sorbet.
home cooked meal.
Sorbet and then pork chops.
Wait, pork chops after
did you
sorbet?
put
Okay, but he
Wait, no,
put
let's see
like
the paper,
5
Brian.
foods. That is so not
I
fair.
got one of them. Right?
I want to see the paper, Brian. Show the
Yeah, let's
camera. I
see.
just
I'm
want to
not
make
I
sure.
believe it.
I love that we don't trust him.
Let me see. No, Brian, say something.
Brian,
so-
say something. So
Brian,
Pork
say
chops. Pork chops.
Okay.
Okay, it's there.
Well, if I could
Sorbet.
list 5 foods, my goodness.
Well, I listed 5 foods for me, so let's see if you got it right.
All right. Okay.
We're gonna give him that point.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to him.
I mean, he got pork chops.
Put it this way: if you had to pick one of those, would have you picked pork chops?
She always orders a pork chop at a restaurant.
love a
If there's a
pork
pork chop on the menu, she's getting the pork chop. So yes.
No, it doesn't matter what the preparation is. Boiled pork
Doesn't matter.
chops.
no, I have
fried
to have it
pork
grilled.
chops.
I'm not going to do a fried one. Mm-mm.
Okay, all right.
Like grilled.
Okay.
I'm still reeling that either of you consider grapes a dessert.
I really love grapes. I like a kid. I'm like, Brian,
frozen?
can you wash me off grapes before bed tonight? Like a nighttime snack. I love grapes.
You know,
Green
I love grapes as well, except it's very hard to find that perfect grape.
I don't
Yeah.
like an
Exactly.
unfirm.
Needs them
It
to be
needs to be
crunchy.
firm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need a
Firm.
firm.
And no seeds. No seeds.
No seeds. That's why I have to go to the grocery store because I feel on the grapes. I'm like, this looks like a good
So
package. I
Yeah.
take it very seriously.
Me too.
I'm sure the next person
If you
appreciates
feel
that
one
as well.
soft one, you're like, no, not this bad.
Yep.
Yeah. It's very hard to
Yep.
pick a good grape.
Grapes. I wish I was as satisfied by grapes.
No, a good grape is one of the best things, but it's got to be really good.
Yeah, the stars
It's like
have
a
to
good pear. People don't appreciate pears enough. A good
Dad
pear
loves
is tremendous.
Good
fruit.
pear. Yeah, I haven't had a pear in a while, but it's good.
Yeah, when it's good.
All right, Bryan, what is your last meal on earth?
Once again, I put multiple.
That's cheating left and right.
I
Except
got
for the shoes.
steak. I got sweet potato fries, cheesecake, mac and cheese, and bacon.
So you're going locale here. This is
Yeah.
This is like,
oh yeah.
okay.
My favorite
I'm
part is
going all
that you read that while it was up at the camera, which means that you had it memorized.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Rachel, let's see what you got.
I
here.
put steak and potatoes.
Did he say steak?
I think
I
that
did
wins.
say steak.
All
I did
right.
say
Steak was
steak.
his first one.
Yes,
I knew
you
steak
guys.
would be
I
on
think
there.
that wins. Yeah.
Damn. You
So I
guys
got
Oh, that was
one.
easy.
easy.
We are three. Well,
Steak and
we are not
potatoes?
going to get this next one.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get this one right.
Well, I mean, you're tied right now.
3-3. Have we ever had a 3-3 tie going into
I don't
the
think
last?
so.
No.
All right.
Okay.
5. Rachel, what's the first thing you would buy if you won the lottery? A house.
A house.
That's very practical. Bryan, what did you put?
I said she would say a house, but I gotta show you mine.
Are
so
you
that I could
writing? Are you?
No.
Oh my God.
I gotta.
This is a travesty.
I gotta show you mine so that because I literally put just same on
Okay.
the one for
we
her.
believe you.
Okay. So mine is actually I just bought a whole bunch of real estate. It's 5 houses, okay? One for each parent set, and then one in LA, one in Dallas, and one in Miami.
This is your answer.
Oh,
Wow.
We bought this is my answer. But
Oh,
then
you-
I
you
said
said
like
yes.
same because I knew you would put house.
Oh, that's sweet.
That makes
That is
sense.
really sweet, and
That's
you
super cute.
definitely win because that is not what I put for you.
All right. So, Rachel, what
let
did
me
you-
hear it.
Ferrari Testarossa.
Business stuff.
What?
Thinking like, oh, he would buy all this equipment, for his business, and that's what I thought you would.
What?
Oh, my God.
He's won the lottery. He didn't
Yeah,
get like
seriously.
a $25,000 grant. That. All right, she automatically
Brian's
loses.
machines cost so much money. Like they're so much. Like he has these machines that nobody else has.
But that's not what you buy when you win the
If he
lottery.
wins the lottery, he might not need to work at all anymore.
That might be something he
Exactly,
actually spends some
exactly.
money
No,
on.
if we win the lottery, we're still working.
Yeah, I feel
Well,
like
I'm running the business. I ain't working.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Bryan, you are tied for reigning champion of the Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Do I get
Yeah,
like a
with
reward
Kevin.
or a medal
Yay.
or something?
You get a hand
clap.
clap.
An applause. Very impressive. The only other person is Kevin Wendt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, that's my guy right there. Love Kevin.
Very impressive stuff. You guys, that was so fun. I loved the
was
plate
impressive.
cameo.
That was fun. We discovered new things.
Yes. And you guys just gave such great, specific, detailed answers. It was everything I hoped and dreamed it would be. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
for
you guys for having us.
A lot
Yeah, for
of
sure. It was a
fun.
great time.
We would love to come back. Part
Yes.
2.
Anytime. Maybe you can do us one
Absolutely.
day.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. Yes.
And were you stroking me because I was like,
You were emotional.
yeah, I am emotional because you guys, I was really looking forward to this one. So thank you for being so
You guys
great.
delivered.
Thank
Really
you guys
did.
so
Thank you.
much.
Appreciate it.
Really
Thanks a
appreciate
lot.
you guys.
Hope to hang out in person one day on the
Oh
other
my
side.
gosh. Yes, we will see you. Happy holidays to you guys.
Yeah,
and
happy
be
Thanksgiving.
safe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right back at you.
You too.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow. Oh, they were great.
I am such a fan of them.
I am now a fan. Not that I wasn't a fan of her.
Yeah, I feel like you
I
just knew
just
of them and you were like,
wasn't-
okay, but now you are a fan.
Great. They're really it can happen on TV.
It can, and it really goes to show what happens if you bring on people who are maybe a tick older than 23.
Imagine that.
Yeah, but not to discredit the other ways in which they're great, which are not just, by the way, attributed to age. They're both just so self-aware and reasonable.
Reasonable, down to earth, all the good things.
She's such a star.
She's a star.
She's a
She
star.
really is.
Yeah. The first time I met her, I was like, I was just so excited.
It's really cute.
Yeah, she's just, she's not just beautiful and doesn't just have a presence. Like she'll talk to you like a human being and relate to you. And she's so easy to be around on top of that star power, which just sort of seals the deal. They were great.
Great.
So easy to talk to.
Easy.
They're such I feel like they're just such a modern couple. Mm-hmm. You know how she's in LA. We actually forgot to say that, by the way. I had a whole question about long distance, but we kind of ran out of time. And I'll mention this, so if anyone wants to listen to it, on Bryan's podcast, they have an entire episode about long distance between the two of them. So that's why I didn't want to talk about it too much. But she's in LA right now because she works for Extra, and he's in Miami because that's where his practice is. And I just think it shows so much that they are so attuned to each other. Like, I forgot that they weren't in the same room.
It's absolutely. It felt like they were on a couch together.
Yeah, that's the first time we've recorded with a couple where they're in different locations. And
yeah,
they're just so on the same page.
100%.
So mature.
Really nice to see.
Oh, what's funny is we both had our money on Rachel because she was so confident.
Oh,
But
that's
Bryan,
right. I lost my money. I forgot.
Yeah, Bryan totally swept up and stole it.
She should have said Eva Mendes. That was a mistake. That would have actually resulted in a tie.
And what's funny is he was so close from having 5 because he only put shoes. If he had put 3 things, he certainly would have gotten one.
He should have gotten 5. You're right.
Yeah. Anyway.
So he won.
He didn't put it.
No, but he won even without it.
Yeah, he won, but I'm saying...
So he won. He really won. I think he won. Because she should have put Eva Mendes.
Yeah.
And he should have put more than shoes.
Oh, you're right. In which case it would have been 5-4.
5-4, yeah.
I love how much we're still talking about the newlyweds score.
It's like the sports center after like a football game. There's grown men just talking for an hour about a game.
A pass.
Anyway.
Good job. So I think that's it for this episode of Dear Shandy. What a great love fest. They were great. If you liked what you heard today, you can support Dear Shandy by liking, subscribing, leaving iTunes reviews, commenting, following, all the things you would do to keep us.
Tell your friends.
Oh, tell your friends. Thank you, Andy. That's a good one. Arguably the best one.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, I think that's it. Thanks, guys, for tuning into Dear Shandy, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Dear Shandy.